Dear viewers, welcome back to the Diplomatic Talk program. In this episode, we are going to talk about diplomatic relations between China and Uzbekistan. But before we proceed, let's explore China.
The number you have called is temporarily unavailable. Please try again later.
China is famous for its unique cuisine, amazing scenery, and ancient civilization. There are a lot of interesting facts about China. However, we will explore some facts that are less famous. Many historians believe that first ice cream was invented in China around 2000 BCE. It was made from the mixture of milk, rice, and snow, and later it was introduced to the West by Marco Polo during his travels in the 13th century. China did have female rulers. The most famous one is Empress Wu Zetian, who ruled during the Tang Dynasty. She was the only woman in Chinese history to declare herself emperor and ruled with considerable power and intelligence. The new South China Mall in Dongguan was the largest mall in the world by floor space when it opened in 2005. However, it initially became infamous as a ghost mall due to the lack of tenants and customers, though it has since begun to fill up. Beijing has its underground city built during the Cold War, known as the Dixiaqiang. This network of tunnels was constructed in the 1960s and 1970s to protect residents in case of nuclear attack. It includes everything from bomb shelters to living quarters, though it's mostly unused today. Although China is geographically wide enough to span 5 time zones, the entire country follows Beijing Standard Time. Uzbek-Chinese engagement has grown over the past 30 years. In 2001, Uzbekistan became founding member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. In 2005, Uzbekistan and China affirmed their relationship by signing the China-Uzbek Treaty of Friendship and Cooperation. The relationship gained further traction in June 2016, when relations were upgraded to a comprehensive strategic partnership. Uzbekistan became a Belt and Road Initiative partner in 2015 by signing a Memorandum of Understanding and joined China's Asian International Investment Bank. In 2023, President Shavkat Mirziyoyev made a state visit to China. Presidents of both countries adopted a program of comprehensive strategic partnership for 2023 and 2027. A total of 41 documents were signed during the visit, marking a new chapter in the strategic partnership between Uzbekistan and China. Currently, Yujun has the diplomatic mission of China to Uzbekistan. Meanwhile, Farhod Arziyev is the diplomat of Uzbekistan to China. Dear viewers, right now we are going to start play ping pong with His Excellency Ambassador.
Ping pong
is a favorite sport for the Chinese. I think every city resident plays this sport. It brings a lot of gold medals in the competitions. By the way, I would like to mention about this year's Olympic Games athletes. Outstanding results. We achieved 8 golds, one of them was taken by women.
Now I think I'm doing better.
Excellent.
Do you have any hacks so that to be better in this game?
Well, I never thought of it before. It comes with practice.
You said you have played ping pong from childhood. How did you learn it?
Школьный.
Yes, I have been playing this game from school. We played it with classmates, and I can say I learned it by my own.
So the more you play, the better you become.
Да.
Yeah, correct. When I was in school, this type of sport was the most affordable, especially for school students. That's why there is a high tendency of youth being engaged in this sport.
Your Excellency, you're quite good at it.
Thank you.
Спасибо большое, что согласились.
Thank you very much for this game. It was amazing.
Спасибо.
Thank you so much.
Господин посол, спасибо большое, что...
Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for agreeing for this interview. My first question is about your personal life. How long have you been working in diplomacy?
В дипломатической сфере.
Спасибо, конечно, сначала за интервью.
Thank you so much for the interview. Regarding my diplomatic career, I have been in diplomacy for 40 years. Right after graduating from university, I started working at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. For a long time, I have been focused on relations with the countries of Central Asia and the CIS.
В детстве, вы помните...
In your childhood, did you ever think that you will become an ambassador?
Честно говоря, тогда еще не задумался, что...
Honestly, at that time, I didn't even consider becoming a diplomat in the future. Most likely, the idea came to me later, while I was studying at university. In the 1990s, our country was implementing a policy of reforms and openness, and there was a strong need for specialists in that field.
После того, как вы начали свой
What challenges did you encounter when you started your diplomatic career?
Надо побольше.
First of all, you need to familiarize yourself with the local situations of different countries. Each partner country is unique in its own way. For example, even the countries of Central Asia differ from one another. Also, they are our neighbors. Finding common ground can be challenging. In multilateral negotiations, for instance, every country defends its own interests, which is natural. However, it's diplomats' job to find ways to satisfy all parties involved.
Вы отметили, что вот страны, они отличаются друг от друга.
You mentioned that countries differ from one another, but they also have similarities. Have you ever experienced cultural shock while visiting any of these countries?
Например, Китай с Узбекистаном.
For example, China and Uzbekistan are quite similar. We share similar mentalities, customs, and traditions. Both of us are tea lovers, and there are many such parallels. On the other hand, there are countries where Chinese culture differs significantly. In those cases, it takes more time to understand why they insist on certain positions. From a cultural perspective, these things can carry deep meaning.
So, in order to find common ground, it is important to prepare in advance, right?
Да, конечно. Например, после...
Yes, of course. For example, after gaining independence in early 1990s, border issues arose between China, Central Asian countries, and Russia. They were some of the most critical moments in our diplomatic relations. Borders are extremely important to every country, and each side must gather all possible evidence to support its position. These situations often created difficult moments between our countries, but in the end, shared interests such as peace and stability along border regions helped us find solutions. Neighbors aren't chosen, they are destined to live side by side, so all issues must be resolved through joint efforts.
А какие привилегии?
Are there any privileges that come with being diplomat? Have you ever had a situation where you were grateful for your diplomatic status?
Вы имеете в виду там, например, когда...
For diplomats, there are indeed some perks. For example, at airports, there are usually special checkpoints to help diplomats catch their flights quickly. Or if something goes wrong on the street, more attention is given to diplomats. However, this comes with the understanding that every diplomat must respect the laws of the host country.
What do you like the most about your job?
Это значит служить народам.
Serving people. I'm happy to work here and see the dynamic development of cooperation in various fields between our countries. It benefits not only my own country, but also Uzbekistan.
What were your first impression when you arrived in Uzbekistan for the first time?
Да, это первое впечатление.
So at that time I arrived in Tashkent, the capital. My first thought was that it was a very clean city and the people were incredibly friendly. I first visited the capital in the 1990s. It struck me as a very beautiful and grand city.
Видите ли вы какие...
Do you see any common features in relationship between China and Uzbekistan?
Конечно. Во-первых, это...
Of course, first we are close neighbors. While we don't share a common border today, the distance between us is very small. For example, traveling from Andijan to Kashgar is only about 400 kilometers. It's quick and very close. Secondly, we share a long history of relations, exchanges, and communication as well. Our friendship is a source of pride that dates back to ancient times. Even in pre-modern history, China sent envoys to your lands. Later, a famous Chinese monk traveled through your territory on his way to India to study Buddhism. Additionally, during the era of Mongol Empire, people from your region, such as Shamsuddin from Bukhara, served as governors or representatives in Chinese provinces, contributing to the local communities. We also have historical, literary connections, like the tale of Farhad and Shirin. In this history, Farhad is portrayed as a prince from the Chinese Khanate, highlighting the cultural parallels between our civilizations.
Мы видим, что сегодня мировые СМИ очень остро
Today, global media often reports intensely on the situation in Kashgar. Can you tell us more about it?
Конечно, Синьцзян-Уйгурский автономный район.
The Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region is an exotic and culturally rich area with many similarities to your own culture. People there live peacefully, with a strong sense of stability and harmony, and the region's economy is developing dynamically. We are also continuing policies of openness. Last year, the party secretary of Xinjiang visited Uzbekistan to strengthen and establish cooperation across various sectors at the regional level. This year, a high-ranking delegation from Xinjiang visited again and reached agreements to further enhance collaboration. However, there are speculations and rumors that human rights violations in Xinjiang, which are simply not true. Only those who have actively been there can confirm the reality. The human rights situation in the region is no worse than in other parts of the world. If anything, it's even better.
Какие области
What areas of cooperation have been and remain priorities between Uzbekistan and China?
Практическое сотрудничество. Знаете, это сейчас в Узбекистане
Our focus is on practical cooperation. Uzbekistan is currently undergoing a transformation to build a new Uzbekistan, with comprehensive reforms across many sectors. In this context, China plays an important role in supporting Uzbekistan's development. For example, Chinese companies are building roads in Karakalpakstan and Bukhara, where I have visited. Despite the harsh conditions such as heat and wind, Chinese companies are delivering high-quality work. They also introduce advanced technologies, ensuring that their work is both efficient and of high quality. In the energy sector, including renewable energy, Chinese companies are actively engaged. For example, they are building solar and wind power stations in Uzbekistan, delivering quick and relatively affordable solutions. In my opinion, this significantly contributes to Uzbekistan's rapid development. In addition, Chinese companies are investing in various industries, such as energy, manufacturing, agriculture, and production. There are currently about 2,800 companies operating in Uzbekistan, with Chinese investments. Last year, bilateral trade reached $14 billion, marking a 40% increase. China also became the top investor in Uzbekistan. Our trade is based on fair prices, not necessarily cheap ones, as cheap can imply poor quality. Today, Chinese products are among the highest quality in the world, combining new technologies with excellent craftsmanship. This directly improves the quality of life for the people of Uzbekistan. Moreover, China continues to increase imports from Uzbekistan, including agricultural products, yarn, cotton, copper goods, and natural gas, which also supports Chinese economy.
Вот вы отметили в начале про экономические тоже отношения.
You mentioned earlier about economic relations and the increasing number of Chinese companies opening in Uzbekistan. In your opinion, what attracts Chinese businesses to Uzbekistan the most?
Честно говоря, Узбекистан это сейчас самый привлекающий.
So frankly speaking, Uzbekistan is currently the most attractive country in the Central Asian region for Chinese businesses. The cooperation between the provinces and the regions on both sides plays a significant role. Earlier this year, we held a regional forum in Urumqi, where delegations from all regions and the capital of Uzbekistan participated. During the forum, Uzbek representatives got a first-hand look at the local conditions in China, and everything went well. More importantly, they strengthened their ties with Chinese provinces. Over 20 provincial delegations from China participated in the event, further deepening regional cooperation.
Спросите насчет железной дороги.
We know that there are plans to build a railway connecting Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and China. What are the current plans, and when this project will be completed?
А железные дороги это уже давно была речь.
The idea of building this railway has been under discussion for quite some time, more than 20 years in fact. Currently, we transport goods through Kazakhstan, which takes a lot of time and adds significant transportation costs. In June of this year, we signed an intergovernmental agreement between China, Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan to proceed with the railway construction. Right now, negotiations are continuing between the companies involved. We hope to begin construction by the end of this year. Once the railway is completed in a few years, it will shorten the transportation route between China and Uzbekistan by 900 kilometers, significantly reducing travel time and logistics costs.
Thank you for joining us on this diplomatic journey. See you in our next episodes.